This is where things get exciting, and I know a lot of you are chomping at the bit to fight some monsters, save some folks, and loot some gold. But before we get into all of that, there are a few safety rules we gotta go over so that no one loses an eye. Because, you know, that's when Mom says it stops being fun and games. First off, if you need to break character and ask a question out of game, or ooh, do so by placing your hand or your weapon on top of your head and speak quietly. This way you minimize the breaking of immersion and suspension of disbelief for other players. In the event you need to go out of game for a rules or heaven forbid a medical reason, you can place your hand or weapon on your head and walk as such. Players doing this are to be treated as out of game and are to be ignored as though they are not there. Some other people that you may see out of game are shapers or plot members. They can usually be identified by their white headbands. This signifies that they are actually not there in-game. The job of shapers and plot members is to help set the scene and describe what the players are seeing or experiencing from their surroundings. Now, in the event that someone actually gets hurt for real, a player can call a hold. Hold! This is so that the hurt player can be attended to, usually by a shaper or a medical marshal. During this time, other players should take a knee and keep their heads down. This time should not be used to look around the field and devise your next tactical move or break character and talk to other players. The reason for that is because it's kind of cheating and we want to disrupt the flow of combat as little as possible. Now, when the harmed player is tended to, they can either decide to continue playing or leave the field and recover. When this has happened, the person who called the hold in the first place or a shaper can call a lay on. This signifies that the game is unpaused and everyone can continue as normal. Another type of hold is a descriptive hold. This is used when a shaper needs to pause the game to describe something that's happening.
Descriptive hold! Before you, you see a gate of fire open. An ogre emerges through it. 3, 2, 1, lay on.
Oh my god!
This is the mighty buffer weapon. That's a term that we use to describe weapons made from foam latex or other weapons that we craft ourselves out of like couch foam and loose plumbing supplies that we use to fight each other in-game. Now, they're already pretty safe, but every weapon, even weapons bought online, are checked at the beginning of game by a weapons marshal to ensure that they're safe to use. If you want more specifics on that process in particular, you can talk to a new player liaison, a weapons marshal, or go to the forums on our website. And as such, we have a lot of rules and regulations surrounding things like illegal striking locations and unsafe combat. These are punishable by warnings, being made to leave combat, character death, and even being banned from the game. Illegal locations to strike are the head, the neck, the hands, and the groin. If you get hit in these locations, you can ignore the damage you took or the skill used upon you. Hitting a player who has breasts in the chest, while not technically illegal, is considered unsporting and should be avoided if possible. Some unsafe combat practices would be things like baseball batting and overhead swinging. This kind of stuff is unsafe and will not be tolerated. When swinging, you should remember that you only need to hit your target hard enough that they can feel it, not hard enough to leave marks. This is what's called a moderate touch system. Other practices that are against the rules are things like machine gunning, when you're striking a location repeatedly really fast. In order to avoid this, you should alternate the locations in which you strike, and between strikes, make sure you pull your weapon back at least 45 degrees. Other than that, have fun. Remember that we're role-playing out here, so if you get hit by an attack or a spell, try to react like your character would in-game.